Welcome to Ryan Watches a Movie. My name's Adam Patterson. With me today, we have Kevin Rakestraw. Hey, Kevin.
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good, bud.
Oh, yeah.
We're also joined by Ryan Holes. Hey, Ryan. If this is your first time tuning in, Kevin and I are challenging ourselves to find movies that Ryan likes in the hopes that we will reach a coveted 10 out of 10. You can join in on the conversation by sending your movie suggestions for Ryan to podcast@filmpulse.net or sending me a DM on Twitter @filmpulsenet. If you like the show, consider helping us out on Patreon at patreon.com/filmpulse. And be sure to check out the Frederick's Ataxia Research Alliance website at curefa.org. Ryan, what movie did we have you watch this week?
Revenge.
This is a 2017 film. You were looking for horror, so we decided to give you something that it's got a lot of blood in it. Buckets of blood in this movie. This is directed by it's written and directed by Coralie Farge. I have a synopsis here. Never take your mistress on an annual guy's getaway, especially one devoted to hunting. A violent lesson for three wealthy married men. Ryan, tell us a little bit about Revenge.
Oh, there's an attractive girl, and she's brought on a hunting trip on the middle of the desert with three guys. And the night before, everything goes planned, and she digs around them and entices them. And the next day, the one who is her boyfriend has to leave for a little bit. And while he's gone, one of the other ones comes in and rapes her. And then the third guy walks in on it, sees what's up, turns the TV up real loud and leaves and lets it happen. Well, then the boyfriend comes back, and I'm guessing they gonna discuss what happened, and I'm not really sure why he's cool with it, but he doesn't get really angry about it at all. Then they're out in the middle of the desert, and she's running away from them. And they catch him through a cliff. They push her off the cliff, and she lands on a tree stump which impales her. But it looks like it kills her, but somehow it doesn't. And I'm not really sure about how that part worked because it wasn't really. And I wasn't really into that part yet. And, I forgot what with these guys. They give her a peyote and tell her to put it in her locket. And she does so around her neck. So she gets bailed, and somehow she wakes up. It's part of the tree stump that she impaled on, and it ends up breaking, and she crawls to a cave and takes the peyote, gets all fucked up, and so that she can tolerate the pain. She cauterizes her wounds, and somehow she's magically okay. And the rest of the movie is her sneaking around, killing each one of them one by one. Oh yeah, well,
yeah. Spoiler warning. This is a newer movie too. This is available on Shudder. So just if you listen past here, yeah, there's going to be some spoilers.
Well, I mean, I think you kind of know that going in, right?
Yeah,
it's like the whole premise. Like she's gonna kill them,
right?
Yeah,
but It was more so a spoiler for any details that
Gotcha. Yeah.
that we discuss. All right, so she goes after all of the guys who did this to her, and exacts bloody revenge on them, hence the title. Ryan, what did you think of Revenge?
It was one of the most uncomfortable movies I've ever seen.
Wow.
Nice.
Wow.
Like, the close up when she's cauterizing her wounds, and the close up of when she rips the stump out of her kidney area, and the whole end scene that was very, very, very bloody.
A lot of blood.
Yeah, this movie is covered in blood.
Man, the one guy, I'm pretty sure she kills him with a shotgun slug because she shoots him and like half his body just goes away.
I think this is a movie that definitely overestimates the amount of blood that's in a human body.
Yeah, specifically in that final scene. Yeah,
Yeah,
when the entire house is just covered. That hallway that's just like floor to ceiling, just
blood.
gallons.
So much that they both slip around.
Yeah, they're slipping and sliding around on their own blood.
And maybe that explains the whole tree stump thing, because it's not necessarily that her internal organs got punctured. It's that in this movie they think that the human body below the flesh is just all blood. Just head to toe. You're just full of blood. That's it. No bones, no nothing, just blood.
Once we colorize their wounds, they gonna disappear.
It just holds the blood in. Everything's fine. You're fine. All the blood's staying in now. You're good to go.
Well, I think let's be clear. This movie is not trying to be a gritty, realistic thriller here. No. It revels in how over the top it is. It's designed. It seems to be very specifically designed to be this over the top, almost satire of a rape revenge movie.
Which I do want to point. I do want to say, because I can't remember if we talked about this when we reviewed this on the regular show. I think we did, but it's not really revenge. It's more so of just like her like trying to survive, because it doesn't seem like she's going out of her way to kill them. It's just they're coming after her to finish the job.
Yeah, because the first two guys, because they go searching for her, but I think the final guy, she pretty much hunts him down. Also the second to last guy, the guy that actually was the one who perpetrated the assault, she goes after him too. If you remember, she snipes him, and he's the one that
snipes with a shotgun slug. That was pretty awesome.
She could have let that guy go, but she went after him too.
That was another scene that was very touching when
his foot.
When he steps on like this.
Yeah. Actually, Blake, who writes for the site, saw this when he and I were talking about it back when this first came out, and he had a really hard time with this movie. He was just like, there are a couple scenes that I had to look away. Like I could not watch.
Especially that foot scene, because it seems like they just paused the movie and they're like, you know what, we're going to do realism here.
Yeah, because we're
going to take the exact amount of time it would take to pull a piece of glass out of your foot.
Yeah, it looked very real. It looked, and it was just like you could feel it. Like you could feel it as it was happening. I love this movie, by the way.
I like it a lot.
I didn't rewatch it.
Ooh.
I didn't rewatch it for this, but because I did watch it, like I saw it in the theater and I saw it again when we reviewed it on the podcast. So a lot of the key elements are still fresh for me.
I want to say something real quick, or because I wanted to say it at the very beginning, but it doesn't necessarily have to do with this film. But the main thing that I like about this new format, right, is that I'm actually like really excited to find out if what Ryan thought of a movie, like what his rating is. Where in the past it was just, I know he's gonna hit it.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
I know it's gonna be like a 3 or something. But now I'm actually like, there's an anticipation, like, is it like there's an anxiety too, where I'm like, did he like it? I hope he liked it.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I like about this too. So Ryan, you last week you said you wanted to watch a horror movie, and so Kevin and I were talking it over. We had it narrowed down to a few different movies. We decided on this one because we think that you tend to like movies that are very violent and very bloody, correct? I don't want to put
Yes.
words in your mouth, but these
No,
are
you're right,
things that
you're
we're
right.
And you like badasses.
yeah, and you like badasses. And Matilda Lutz's character in this, I think, she's pretty much a badass in this. She kicks their asses hardcore.
And it's the best when she gets all weirded out on parody. Because, like, it just shows that she's like a human being. And then she goes and fucks all them up.
Yeah.
So Ryan likes badasses doing drugs.
Badasses doing drugs, making themselves superhuman. Well, I think that was the other thing we talked about. You tend to like movies that are very cool feeling. Like there's a lot of the thing about this movie is it has kind of this like electronic, like techno soundtrack. You get a lot of like bright neon colors in it, lots of like contrasting pinks and blues and oranges. It's a very cool looking movie.
The only thing that got me, and it's not really, it's not like a broad problem for everyone, it's more me. The subtitles.
Yeah.
Because
I totally
goes back and forth.
Yeah, I totally forgot that there were some subtitles in this movie. Like when we were talking about what to give you, it didn't even cross my mind. Like we decided on it, I was like, oh shit, there are some subtitles in this movie, and I like totally forgot about it because it's not like 100% subtitled. It's just like some of it is subtitled,
and it's not really a movie where you have to pay attention to every word they say.
Yeah.
Now, my question is you asked for horror. Now, this obviously, for my definition, isn't horror, but I could see it being placed in there because there is horrific things happening and there's a lot of blood and a lot of gore. But was there any part of you that was slightly disappointed that this wasn't like a true quote unquote horror movie?
Like jump scares and...
Not really, because I like I don't know, when you said horror, like I knew when that puzzle clip that it wasn't like somebody sneaking around killing people behind everyone's back. So I wasn't really disappointed with them.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, because this was another thing that we were discussing, is you said horror, and at first we were like, okay, let's find something like really scary. And then when we were talking about this one, we were like, this isn't really scary. I think that you could easily classify this as a horror movie, but it's certainly on the edge. I mean, a lot of people would just call this an action thriller. You know,
Yeah.
I think it definitely straddles that line and kind of blends into other genres as well. But it's good to know that even though you requested hard, that this would still qualify and that
Yeah.
it didn't disappoint.
I think if we're gonna take that risk for me and Adam, you know, I think if it works, if it's something that he truly enjoys, it's really gonna hit. But it could potentially backfire big time, because like, say this was something that he didn't enjoy, you know, he'd be like, what the fuck, this isn't horror, this isn't horror, you assholes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there are actually a couple other movies that I think would be similar to this. There's, in fact, on our master list, there's at least two that I can think of right off the bat that I would say are very similar to this, where they kind of straddle that line between horror and thriller.
Yeah.
So it's actually good to know that you like these kinds of movies.
I do enjoy them.
And of course, this is a more contemporary movie too. As I think you tend to like more modern movies as opposed to older ones.
Correct.
Cool.
Is this squirrel in anything else?
She's in Rings.
Rings, yeah. The latest Rings movie that came out in 2017.
As in Ringo.
Yeah, it's The Ring. The American version.
Yeah.
What
didn't
is
see
she?
What is she?
What nationality?
She's Italian.
Yeah. She sounds very, very English.
Yeah. I don't know what her upbringing was like, but at least in this movie, she doesn't really have an accent or anything.
Yeah.
And I love LA shirt on. And it kind of made me like I thought she really was supposed to be from LA.
Yeah, she is American in the movie. Her character is American in the movie.
Oh yeah.
I can't remember where did they the actual cabin is somewhere weird. I can't remember where they said it was.
Yeah.
But it was like a Middle Eastern country or something.
Well, was it Morocco?
Maybe that was it. Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, I think it was like
okay.
Northern Africa.
Yeah, you're right. I believe it was Morocco. Because I remember thinking like that. This is like truly a blending of many different cultures here. Got French dudes, American people, Italian, as we now know, in Morocco. I've been to Morocco.
Oh, shut up.
All right, fair enough.
I've been to Market Street.
I've been to Market Street. Been to the West Manchester Mall. What?
I went to Dover today.
Nice, dude. Getting out there. All right, let's give you a drum roll, Ryan. What do you give Revenge?
8.
That is an 8 out of 10. Solid. Nice.
Oh boy.
That makes up for last week's debacle a little
Thank
bit.
God. I was really. That's what I mean about like there's actual like a little bit of anxiety, like you know, where you're not only hoping that he likes the movie each and every time, because obviously you do, but coming off the heels of that, the Halloween show, it was like, man, I really hope he likes this. And especially when we went with something that was kind of risky. It wasn't necessarily a horror movie.
Right.
It's like, man, this is either going to be great or it's going to backfire on us terribly.
Yeah. I was feeling pretty confident.
I really love that girl's tough as shit.
Yeah. I feel like the actress is probably pretty tough too. I mean, it looked like it probably wasn't the most pleasant shoot to go through all of that in that movie.
Well, you tell us. You've been to Morocco.
It's very hot. It's very hot there. I'll tell you that. It's hot. It's hot, and there's a lot of sand. All right, Ryan. Any final thoughts on Revenge before we close it off this week?
It's hard to watch, but it's worth it.
Like I said at the top of the show, this is on Shudder. So if you have a subscription to Shudder, you can check it out there. It is a Shudder exclusive.
Ooh.
So yeah, they picked it up shortly after it ended its festival run. So yeah, just check it out on Shudder. And Shudder is such a great service, by the way. I know I talk about it a lot on the regular show, on the regular podcast. I don't know if I've ever talked about it on here, but it's just a fantastic streaming service, and it keeps getting better and better too.
Nice.
I mean, you've used Shudder in the past, right, Kevin? Yeah.
Yeah, they're great.
They have a great lineup. All right, I think that's going to wrap it up for this week. Thank you so much for listening. You can send us your picks for Ryan and questions and topics to podcast@filmpulse.net. You can follow us on Twitter @filmpulsenet, @filmpulsekevin, and @mylegsdon'twork. And if you have a minute, take a look at our Patreon page, patreon.com/filmpulse, and consider helping us out by becoming a subscriber. For Kevin Rakestraw and Ryan Holes, my name's Adam Patterson. We'll see you next week.
See you later.